Hello, and welcome to Guys Like Us, the podcast about existential questions and champagne problems. How are you, Paul?
Good evening. I'm very well, my friend. I just figured out I hear you better if I turn on my volume, actually.
Oh,
So
that's
maybe it's
fantastic.
it's not even your fault. Maybe it's mine.
No, this is a
Because
great
I've just
metaphor.
been giving Marc shit for the past 5 minutes that he can't even use the mic properly. So yeah, maybe it was my fault all
as
along.
it turns out, yeah, exactly.
There's a reason why I am
delivered
always the idiot
delivered
of the
with
week.
such confidence. His criticism, it was just like impossible for him to be wrong. Yeah,
exactly. No, it is until I am. Yeah.
Well, you're looking good. So you're either dressed in a white button-down shirt. So
It's
that
blue,
could either
yeah.
okay. Excuse me, light blue.
It's the lights.
And yeah. So you could be either coming from a consulting gig or coming from one of the topic that we're going to discuss today. So which is it?
Neither, actually. No, I was
Damn.
working today and I was interviewing someone, so I thought I put on a shirt.
Okay. Highly professional. Good.
Yeah,
Or from a party, which is the next thing. Yeah. So today we're going to be talking about milestones and why they matter. But before we get to that, who's sponsoring you today?
I am sponsored. I'm glad you're asking. I am sponsored with a really tiny glass, to be honest. Yeah, check. You did right. It's a glass of red wine of the Renner sisters, Zweigelt, in a typical Austrian red wine grape from Burgenland. Solid choice that I might be cooking with also tomorrow, but it's actually quite drinkable. No, that would be very unfair. It's actually a very, very nice glass of Zweigelt. Yeah. And yourself?
Okay. I am going to. I'm just sipping on one of America's finest, just a Sam Adams Boston Lager.
Oh man,
it's fall, so you get the
nice. Those were the first kind of like small breweries, but 25 years ago or something, or 30 years ago.
Yeah, 35. Long time ago. Yeah. One of the first to get going. Yeah. I still respect it. It's funny. It's one of the few beers my dad could drink when he came to this country. He was like,
absolutely been around much longer. Yeah, but I remember also when I lived in Ohio ages back, that was like, there is actually something else than Budweiser.
Yeah, and it's not offensive. It's like something you could stand by.
No, you guys have amazing beers, much better than we do in Austria. I mean, that's not hard though, but you do.
No, that's not hard, but it's nice to hear an Austrian show that.
Yeah. So whatever. How's your weekend been? How are you doing, man? All
good. So I have officially firmly stepped into the year of 45, and that was done in two ways. One, which is a big rewind, which I'll talk about. The week before, I was with at my dear friend Thomas's 50th birthday in Athens, which is pretty epic. And then went on from there really, but then celebrated it with the kids. And then you know what I did, which I haven't done for a while, which is I went to a live concert on Saturday. And my wife took me there to see My Morning Jacket, which is a great band, real classic American. They've been around for 25 years at least. And imagine amazing venue, the Brooklyn Paramount. It's probably the winner of the week. And imagine, like, when was the last time you were at a concert like 20 feet away from a guitarist, or the band just playing? Can you remember?
In that jazz club with you.
Okay, fair. Okay. But like, that was just a small jazz, but like a rock concert, Like
never?
What? Never in your life?
In how you describe it? No, never.
Oh, okay.
20 feet away from the guitarist? Never.
No. This is something we need to correct, my friend. But anyway, this is kind of a life-affirming event where you just sit around, you're with my wife took me out, we were alone, we were just being kids again, rocking out, and everyone was just vibing. The band was amazing, just live, whatever you think of the music, which is good, but like live, it's just artistry, really going for it. And I was like, okay, this is the energy. I need for my birthday. So it was a pretty fucking awesome. That and the weather was great. What about you? How are
Man,
you?
I'm fine. No, I'm great. It's so good. It's so good. I had a very
Compared to that,
uneventful.
fine.
No, I had a very uneventful weekend, which was really nice, to be honest. Again, went to a soccer game of my son, which was great. He's
Did he
kicking
score?
ass again. This time he didn't score, no, but he had two unbelievable assists. Really nice. Guy has an eye. It's really cool.
Uh,
And I
that's
think
when
I
Paul starts
watched.
streaming.
Yeah,
It's
I really do.
maybe,
It's like I catch
maybe
myself. It's like
he's like,
I'm living my life through my
is
son's
he
soccer
Iniesta?
career.
Is he Xavi? Oh my god.
Exactly, exactly. No, but I
Maybe.
want to get maybe want to get him into coaching. No, no. Anyways, I already mapped his career out. Poor kid, poor kid. How can you really all this self discovery and not following your ego anymore? You just outsource it to your son. I mean
Yeah,
that's really cheap,
exactly.
right? I was like, I'm so zen, like I'm just
Yeah,
just so
yeah.
chilled. No, I don't have to reach anything. On the other hand, you're like fucking up your child's youth and childhood. Amazing. Um,
Ah,
no, I'm trying not. I'm very much aware. I'm trying not to do that. And I think I watched an entire Netflix series, the second part of The Diplomat, in one weekend, which was also quite. Because
oh yeah, you recommend?
yeah. Oh, I
Yeah.
loved it. It was really cool. It was really
A friend
nice.
of mine's good friends with Carrie Russell. Um, uh, good that apparently she's awesome, really nice in
Yeah,
person.
she's
So I'm
awesome,
glad.
but also I don't know however this guy's called, is playing her husband, is I think amazing. It's just such a fucking cool role. It's really cool.
Fun. Okay.
Yeah, I had fun. I had fun doing that, and that's it. And that's really it. I
Cool.
was looking forward to us getting into a more regular recording routine,
And here we are.
and to finally launch our podcast, really, 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 which is hopefully, knock on lots of wood, happening
Yeah, keep knocking on your
soon,
head. It's
next
working.
week.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's wood. Yeah, next week. Next week.
Good.
We're gonna do it next
Well,
week. Okay. Anyways,
okay. So I
let's
called
start.
this one because I'm
Yeah.
really I want to take you back with me to a little over a week ago where I was in Athens at my friend Thomas's 50th birthday and 3 nights in a row staying up till 4:30 in the morning, chatting with friends, etc. Okay, look, I had the US jet lag on my
Okay.
side,
Fair.
my advantage. So it was just before we get too too
Yeah.
crazy. But still, up till
Yeah. Yeah.
4:30 and they're like, yeah, not bad. And I was struck by the power of marking milestones, whether it's your 50 or whether it's 40 or whether it's 45. And the genius of it and how often we overlook the power of it as as both friends and as others. I mean, you always have little birthday parties, etc. But I think my friend Thomas basically designed a wedding for his 50th birthday party, which is pretty cool. Granted, he didn't have a wedding, so he put all his funds into his 50th. But that aside, the intention of it was um, really struck kind of a chord in me and made me want to talk a little bit about, how we do these things and why they matter and what, if anything, we should change about how we do them or what should stay the same. But before we go
I'm very
there,
curious on where you're going with this, but I've told you this, so I'm very open. It's all bullshit. So, no,
are you
so
skeptical about my topic or you're
Thank you. I was looking for the word. I'm skeptical, but I am. I'm.
well,
I'm open
okay.
like a clam, just a little bit.
Oh my God, let me just force this thing open. So let me put it to you. So, Paul, did you celebrate your 40th birthday party?
Mark, you know that. Yes, I did.
Yes, yes. And how did you celebrate? For those who did listen.
I celebrated on an island in the Mediterranean and it was lots of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was also a 2-day party. It was also a little wedding, actually.
It was a little wedding. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
And is there anything that you would do differently about how that thing was structured?
No,
Genuinely. Like, I mean, no.
no.
It was you got exactly what you want to get out of it.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
It's pretty good, I'd say.
So I agree. It was a lot of fun. But one tension I'm finding, which is really interesting, for a lot of these parties which I've been to, a lot are becoming a lot more formal, a lot more celebratory. And I'm noticing that, there's this interesting let's call it big gesture kind of moment, and much more of party tension, which I thought was really interesting. So, for
Describe
example,
formal in that context.
sit down dinners, invitation. We rented out the restaurant. There's speeches that go these 5 to 7 speeches about how great the person
Yeah,
is.
yeah,
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 they go
yeah. I had
on
all of
and
those
on.
actually.
I blacked out during yours, so I forgot.
Not many speeches, no speeches. I think no
No, no,
speeches,
no.
but a video.
You did have a
A
video,
video.
which we contributed to. Yeah,
Yeah, exactly. There was a
yeah, yeah,
video, and there was sit down dinner, which I insisted on. I don't, but that's an interesting one actually. I would be, yeah. That
yeah.
there's this, yeah. Okay, keep on going. Oh, that's the
The
formal
crime is
piece of it.
starting
I
to open
understand that.
up, right? So
Yeah.
there's the formality piece of it, right?
I
Then,
need
then,
to open
then.
up, otherwise we'll sit here and I say that's all bullshit that you're saying, and this thing is over in 12 minutes. We're in minute 11, so it's like, so yeah. I
Well,
mean, okay. That's and what's the
the
big gesture? Is the speeches and stuff,
yeah, the big
or
speeches and that kind of thing. And
hmm.
like very often, I mean, you can go big with the location, et cetera. But I actually think it's morely about the speeches, and everyone comes up and says how great you are, et cetera. Da da da. Then I also noticed that there's another kind of tension, which is around let's call it like the achievement versus appreciation type tension. That is, you can celebrate all the great things that you've done as a human being, or celebrate who you've become. You know, and I found that also be kind of really an interesting one. Um, the more I go to these, and I've been invited to a lot of them, it's interesting to figure out like what is actually the right way to kind of mark this. And then of course there's, do you invite your whole family, everyone who's ever been around you, or do you keep it exclusive to some of the great friends that you've done, And I thought I would just open up the floor to riff a little bit with you to talk about kind of your ideal. You've thrown one of these, you've got another one coming up. Um, when you think about uh, Paul at this moment and what he wants to do, is he more about a big grand gesture kind of guy? Is he more of an intimate kind of guy? Which one is he?
Can I take a step back and ask you, maybe a bit of a provocative one, but why do we actually celebrate those
I knew you were
milestones?
going to ask that.
And isn't that kind of stupid actually? And it's like, or isn't it
I
just an
knew you were
excuse?
going to
And
ask that.
yeah. So what's your prepared answer for this?
So I think, and here's my bias answer. I think people will travel all over the world for you, usually for two moments: the moment you get married and the moment you die, and you get to be at one of those. And um, good, he's nodding. And then you can manufacture other versions, right? For people to go around and actually come in and join
Yeah.
with you, etc.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what this is. I think it's a manufacturing of convenings, right? You give it just enough importance, right, for people to want to make that
Yeah. I mean,
trip
because
and
that's
get
what
the
it is.
babysitter stuff.
Yeah.
And I think
Yeah.
that to me is it's a trend I kind of wanted to discuss, because I actually think it's increasingly important, and to bring it home to, guys like us who are both career driven, have families to manage, where it's so easy just to put all this shit off and just do the small thing, It's like throwing milestones like this to me feels actually kind of critical and important, or honoring milestones, I should say.
Yeah, but that's what I'm. Is it really because you honor the milestone? Oh, great! You didn't die before 45. Congrats, right? Boo-ha. Or is it, as you just said before, just an excuse, and it's a fair excuse to actually get the people you love to a place and spend time with?
I think it's the latter. Listen, some feel like, and there's an old school part, right, where you have, it is a milestone to honor. Probably when death rates were high and blah blah blah. About 100 years ago, that's a thing to do. Versus what I think is increasingly happening is like, look, let me um, take advantage of the opportunity to bring the closest I have together, and let me invest in the opportunities so they actually come.
Yeah, and I think that's that's kind of fair. I was also a bit irritated by what you said, rather celebrating what you have become than what you have achieved, because I don't think I've ever been on a birthday party. Well, it's not true, actually. Maybe older, but have you been recently on a birthday party where anyone or somebody celebrated what they had achieved in the past?
I think the speeches were talking mostly about what they had
Yeah.
achieved versus who
Yeah.
they were.
And I was
You
just
know,
thinking of my
you were this
parents'
great kind
60th
of guy.
birthday 10 years ago, and I had actually written a speech, and it was a lot about what they had achieved. It's true.
Versus, yeah,
Yeah, that is true.
versus
So,
versus
and
Surveil.
I mean, now to kind of backpedal again in my usual way. I mean, fair enough. We do celebrate birthdays for whatever reason, and let's take this as granted. And we only have those, those in German we say runde Geburtstage, round birthdays. So that
Mm.
your 20th and 30th and 40th, as we know, not that many times in your adult life.
Yeah,
6, 7, 8, maybe when you're lucky. Um, so it's fair. It's a good excuse. It's a very good excuse. It's a very good excuse and a bit of yeah, a moment to reflect, I guess, also, and to look back in all of this and then also celebrate. Yeah.
yeah, totally. And I think kind of where what I was struck by, you know, what my friend Thomas did in Athens, which is sweet, I think, was first of all, I mean, it was very clear that it was meaningful for him to go, that we attended, that it was he was investing in it. He wasn't just a house party, but he really wanted to make sure that if you made the trip, we're going to make it special for you, et cetera. But ultimately, the through line was connecting friends from all over the world that made it great, and
Yeah.
and I think those kinds of milestones, especially, who for those who've lived in so many places, that always adds a little bit of an extra sparkle.
Yeah. I mean, I hear you, but I have a question. If that had been his 49th birthday or no birthday at all, and also not a wedding or any other events that in our culture we tend to celebrate with big parties, gestures, speeches, and whatnot. And he had just said, guys, I'm throwing something serious. I want to connect, friends from all over the world. Come to Athens that October weekend. We're going to do X, Y, Z. Would it have been the same?
Well, I think you're talking about, would it have been the same? It might have even been better. And the reason why, because it would have shed any notion of tradition. And I think people would have just been excited to make a trip at someone's behest for the fuck of it. You know what I mean?
But you think people would have come? Like, you think that would have worked?
I think he would have had 40% off drop off rate just because of how
Really?
people
You
are
think so?
wired. Yeah, I just think, I think people we you said it in a way. I mean, people ascribe meaning to these things, you know? I ascribe meaning to these things. I think, I said, well, yes, age is just a number, but it just makes you just pause at least for a little bit and reflect a little bit. How many rounds around the sorry runs around the sun you've made. But I think let's put it this way: I am waiting for the invitation because I always said if I had a few extra zeros in my bank account, that's pretty much how I would spend these 6 months of the year,
The,
inviting
the
great
reason why
friends.
I was said in the beginning I was skeptical is because I'm like, I the importance of celebrating those milestones. I am not sure. I think it's important to meet your friends, and then it's great to use this as an excuse. And if you were born somewhere else in the world, you would probably invite them because the moon had a special color in that year. I don't know what the fuck. Yeah, something. Okay, you know what I mean. So I mean,
Yeah,
for
keep
us to
going.
that's kind of where I'm coming from, and I think there's two sides to it. One is great for you, to reflect upon your age, and you're 45, and somehow this can be divided by 5, so you need to reflect now. In shamanic tradition, you would think of that every 7 years, and that's how
Right,
they say,
right.
how life changes. But what then we're actually saying is that milestones are completely arbitrary. It's important to meet your friends regularly, and maybe you make it so that all of your friends can come together, once in a while, and b, to reflect. And I say, booha, yeah, of course it is. fuck the
Yeah, but I
milestone.
actually,
So
yeah,
that's
sure,
kind of
but
my,
yeah,
so
yeah,
that's
yeah,
my
but I think,
counter argument to
well,
your
fair, but I think
thingy there.
fine, but I think we live in a world of milestones, so that's nice. But most people are wired to celebrate them, right? And I think, like,
You live in a work of Hallmark.
yeah, well, it's a bit of, I mean, it's
Sponsor.
kind of true,
This
right? I mean,
episode is
it's
brought to you by Hallmark. There's a gift card for everything, even
well,
Marc's milestones.
yeah, exactly. Well, this is gonna be. I'm not even gonna ask you what I want that card to look like, but listen, I think I love that you're rejecting the premise of this, and I think actually, as always, as we find our way to this thing, um, I feel like because we live in a world where people have decided, our society has decided that these things are important, and we can dismiss that and say, yeah, okay, that, like, they're not important in the way that you're telling me they are. However, we should leverage or harness the power that they exist to bring the people that we are together. And also, I think honestly, the question is, what do you do once you do that with them?
And
That's
that's
also really
totally fair.
special.
And now let me, step off that, cynicist wagon that I'm
Yeah,
on.
please.
But there is a no, but there is a point. I mean, and I'm gonna stay on that point. I think there is because I don't think. I mean, I think as soon as you do something because that's the way you do things, right? Then you're most likely kind of on the wrong path, right? I mean,
Sure.
that's maybe when it gets too formal, when it's not authentic anymore. And it would be awesome if there were more. Hey, let's just meet up and do shit. But it's somehow doesn't fit in our lives because we have so many 40th and 50th and 45th and 35th birthday to go to, right? That's why and where do you start? So, and when you said the way you said it before, to leverage those milestones in order to get together and do something is awesome. And it reminds me, and after my wedding, which was an epic one, and our wedding was an epic one,
Yeah,
we were saying, okay, so what's the next thing we're gonna make up for as a milestone to do this again?
that's right. That's
you
right.
know,
That's
and
right.
in the end, it was
Yeah.
my 40th birthday. Then,
Which was
and
still 7 years in between, roughly, right? When did you get married?
which was 7 years
23?
in between. But you're right. I mean,
Right.
how do you get people to somewhere, and where do you get them together? And I mean, I guess this is all you wanted to talk about. Kind of what are the or parts of the logistics and how do you do that, right?
Well, a bit of that, and also just to recognize, like, it's an underutilized tool. Like, a lot of what the spirit of this podcast has been about bringing friends together. It's been about, like, the sanctity of time, and blah blah blah. And I feel like, here's something very clearly in your toolkit, as you think about it. Which, by the way, in for people with very very busy lives, like I think you and I think we have, it's a hard thing to do and to commit to, and because it's another thing. And I'm realizing, coming off this lovely birthday party, I felt like, gosh, like, that's something that's totally worth it.
How
And it's
many
worth the
people were
time and the
there?
effort. 60.
Okay, let's get okay. Now we can go in the weeds of it. Let's continue this discussion. How do you properly celebrate
Hmm.
things? Maybe not only milestones, but things. Then I'm all ears. Now we're
Okay.
talking about parties. So this is actually an episode about parties. Mark just wanted to sound smart, and he said it's about celebrating milestones. But really, this guys is an episode about parties.
Sorry,
Since I'm
sorry.
doing all the uploading, I'm gonna name this the
Okay.
episode on
Since
parties, aka
look, I
milestones. Yeah.
opened up by declaring I went to bed at 4:33 nights in a row, and you're wondering
Mm.
whether or not it was about parties.
Here we go. Okay, good.
Okay.
I'm glad in minute 25 we've established this.
Wonderful. Okay, so
So
let's
how do
talk
you
about the
party
design.
right, Mark?
Thematically. Yeah.
Okay, I'll stop. Go ahead.
Go for it. So do you think about, okay, there's the uh okay, you're mid 40s right now. So there's the still young, you still got it, right? Versus sort of like the running out of time kind of tension. And by that I mean, it's like, do you design, like, I'm back in Barcelona in those days, hanging out in the clubs, or is it more like relaxed with like wine and, casual
Can I give you?
conversation in the
I'll give
band?
you. I'll give you some. Let me turn this around. I'm not ready to answer this question, but I'll just give you an example of some recent birthday round birthday parties I've been to or I've heard of. So actually, on the weekend, I was on a 35th birthday party. A couple turned 35, and they said it's a 70s party. So everyone had to. So it was a theme thing. So everyone came dressed in 70s clothes.
Because 35 and 35 is 70.
Yes, Mark. Yes, exactly. um, uh, it they had an asterisk and a note for people that you know have a math weakness
Addition
like you.
problem, exactly.
Exactly. I didn't. I actually then. I didn't. I didn't read the thing, so I didn't really get the
So you
memo.
showed up in that shirt.
So basically, I should have in that shirt. But I also thought I am the closest to the 70s that party will ever see. So I thought about just putting a -2 on my shirt, saying, if I was, 2 years older or +2, I would be born in the 70s. So that's one part. It's super fun, live music, really fun. Maybe let's take another one. My 40th birthday in Ibiza. With, I don't know what we had, 50, 60, 70 people. 2 nights was fun. And then a friend of mine told me the other day he was at a 50th birthday last year on a yacht in Norway in winter, where there were like, I don't know how many guys and maybe also with their wives, and they went from this sailing yacht. They took dinghies to the mountains and then started walking up the mountains on skis and then skiing them down. That's also a way how to celebrate a 50th birthday. So, which one would you pick, Mark? Door 1, 2, or 3?
Number 3, obviously.
Me too. You couldn't ski. That's your problem. You would sit on the
Oh,
boat and
God.
cook probably. But
Oh, my God.
no, I know. I'm fucking with you.
No, it's
But
fine. Keep going.
no, yeah. Me. So
I actually think Europeans, you know what the thing is? You know what? Euros just know how to party. I actually think this is the difference. I really think, if I were to compare an
yeah.
American party
I think
to a
that's the main.
European,
This is a cultural misunderstanding. I don't know what you're
this is,
talking about, all because it's so very clear to me. All of this.
yeah, I think you guys just know
What's
how
the
to go
discussion?
full on. Yeah, exactly. And
Yeah.
I go to a lot of these American parties. They're awful.
Yeah.
They're
Tell me
boring.
about a
And
typical
okay,
American
so I
45th
went
or
to
50th or
I
40th
went to a
birthday.
50th birthday party, right? And it
Yeah.
was at a Japanese restaurant, very high end, very posh. You sit
Mm.
around there, and the food's of course great. They're serving sake from some sort of list, and you're thinking, okay, this is cool. You're lucky if you talk to the 2 to 3 people, around you. There's everything is done with some restraint, and then there'll be a few speeches that go on and on and on, and then afterwards, like, here's the saddest thing in the world, right? Someone puts on like a
I'm about
disco
to fall
light.
asleep or cry. I don't
Yeah,
know yet
yeah,
what. Yeah,
exactly.
yeah,
And
go
like
ahead. Yeah.
2 to 3 people dance, and you're like, and I was like, oh my God. And everyone was like, yeah, that was a great party. I was like, that was fucking awful,
Not a
right?
party.
No, no. And
That was the night before the party. That's how
yeah,
to
a
get to know each
juice.
other.
Yeah, but you don't even get to know anyone because it's a seated dinner. You're just sitting there, right? So it's not even casual. You can't go up and introduce yourself to people. So that sort of generosity of spirit sort of didn't exist. And I mean, I can name these like over and over again, like how many times I've been forced to sit down through dinner, like through the speeches, no one really cutting loose. And yeah, it's great that you meet some people who've come from far away and you get some nice introductions. But beyond that, it's not a party. It's not a celebration. And actually, now that I really think about it, all the insane ones I've been to have been in Europe. It's really crazy. If you were to
Mm.
ask me the
I
best one
think
I've
one of
been
the
to,
best ones the two of us were was Hansi's 40th birthday. To call you out there, Hans.
yeah, that was also really good. That was intimate, but also that was awesome. Everyone was
And I think
dancing. It was
that's
a good
one
time.
dimension, right? The level of intimacy, which
Mhm.
meaning I need, how many people do you have there? Right. That's and what I really liked about this is one of our dearest friends lost in the desert, but still our dearest friend Hansi,
Hmm.
who turned 40 no 2 years ago, and then he had his party at a place in Spain, and he invited, I think, was it 12 of his best friends plus partners, something like this. Yeah,
Yeah,
20, 25 people.
24. Yeah,
24 people, and we spent 2 nights there, I think, right?
yeah,
And
yeah.
just partied, had a beautiful dinner. Remember this? I mean, outside there, and hung out by the pool, had beers. You talked to everyone, though. I thought it was really, as you said, intimate. And
Yeah.
I loved it. I loved it because it was just focused in a sense. And on the opposite, when I think of my 40th birthday, I don't remember much. It's similar to a wedding, which when there are so many people, I never speak to anyone properly, which is part of I am part of this problem because I always have the feeling I need to speak to everyone, I need to say hi to everyone, which kind of
Yeah.
keeps me from really engaging in the situation. I have it quite vividly in my head that I would stand next to a conversation, listen to it, and then kind of drop off because I would be like, no, I can't now step into this conversation. I would be stuck here for 20 minutes. I need to move on. So, and and which ends up in me talking to
That
nobody.
resonates. Yeah.
Other than the 10 people that then are kind of left at 2 o'clock in the morning that still want to go, who I love, whoever ever did this at my parties, I love you guys. You're the best. I mean, those are the best friends. Then who's
Yeah.
A
Of
has an
course.
alcohol problem or is really your friend or both.
Yeah.
So I would kind of answering this question that you didn't ask and I preempted is I would go for somehow of a medium size. I think 60 would be too much. I would rather if I chose to celebrate now. I would go for somewhere between 30 and 40, I think maybe max. Because I like the intimate part. I like
Max,
uh,
dude.
yeah,
I think
max.
30.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
I
okay.
think 30.
But you get my thing. So I wouldn't do this the way I did my 50th, for example.
40th, you
Because in
mean?
the end, 40th, sorry, my 40th, of course, because in the end, it's beautiful. You have all these people there, and is a great show of friendship and love that people then travel for you as well. But if you don't get to spend the time with them, which in my case I may because people had more time, and also we spent some time, together with other friends, and you kind of
Yeah.
you break it off around the event, which makes it really nice. But the event then really comes across in that sense formal because you can't fully let go because it's an event thing
So,
too. It needs to
uh,
work. You're worried about the food, if everyone's
dude,
happy, blah blah
so
blah.
here's my point of view, and maybe I'm landing the plane a little bit. Like, no, cap your party at 30, have live music and a good DJ so people dance. Do not invite your parents. No kids.
Yeah,
Like, like
yeah, yeah.
meaningful. I'm just to shortcut it, right? Um, instead of going to
I mean, I told you in the beginning, it's a 2-minute episode, but I'm just trying to make it a bit fun here. But
no,
okay,
it
go
is
ahead.
fun.
Yeah.
No. Well, sorry, because I'm
Yeah.
you're
What is
playing your 40th and you're talking about our friend Hans's, and there was a big difference between the two. I'm not saying
huge. Yeah.
I had a great time at your 40th, and I also want to acknowledge that your ability to be present, right? What you said is challenging for a lot of people. Not
Hmm.
that
Hmm.
you were there and we had great conversations, but like nonetheless, I mean, it's just a real thing. And the other thing I'd say is like, you know, and here's what I found to be the really interesting tension is that I find like people in our age group like don't want to aren't like too easily keep their foot on put their foot on the brakes, and you got to really push them to put their foot on the gas. So and th-
That's why I have to take them out of their natural habitat.
exactly you
Yes.
cannot return home.
Yes. No,
You can go
absolutely.
to the hotel.
40th
Yeah,
birthday of one of my friends in Berlin. Booyah. Full on.
yeah,
Party hard.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
yes.
yeah.
Yes.
That's how it goes, because then there's no
Yeah.
retreat and you seal off
Yeah.
all the
Mm.
so
Give me your phones.
yeah, exactly. Give me your
You should have
phones.
like an emergency desk where all the phones are in case the babysitter calls. And then you have a person who kind of decides whether this is a matter worth, transporting. And then someone enters the room and just very discreetly says, your kid peed the bed.
Yeah,
And you can
you know,
then
it'd be amazing.
decide,
It'd be amazing
Yeah.
if you hired someone and you bought like a bunch of fake, and old phones off the market, and you just hired someone like, once your attendees join the party, you're like, hey, by the way, thank you for giving up your phones, and you just pulled a prank and you hired some lady just to smash them with a hammer.
Yeah, or just put them in the fire and they explode or
Yeah,
something.
yeah, oh
Really, like,
yeah, exactly.
that'd be
Throw them in the
awesome.
pool. Exactly, that would just be amazing.
Yeah, but then the pool, they work actually when you throw them in the pool. But
Fine, throw them in the fire. Whatever. Thank you for that.
whatever. No, so I hear you. Yeah, I hear you. Because I think we all have the dream, right? That finally at our party people then dance. No, everyone has this because we all remember, as you asked before, right? I mean, we all want to feel like we felt in that club at 4 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
28 years old in Barcelona. I
Right.
hate to break it to you, never going to feel like this, again, unless, there is some very special mix of substances that, make you
that
go
will
there.
convince you that you're 20.
Make you go, you're 28 and you're in that club. But
Actually, that should be the name of the substance, 28,
it's like 28. It's like
Yeah,
this exactly is imprinted on that pill. That's a great
yeah.
idea, by the way.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's like, let's put it on the list of things people should do and give us royalties.
Give it
So that's not gonna happen. But we want it to happen. Obviously, we want
Yeah.
that. We want to feel like that again. But rarely that really works. There's so many things that need to align for this. People need to be in the mood. The DJ needs to be great, which is not that easy. You need to have a space that is not too big, not too dark, not too light. I think the solution in our age is day partying, to be very honest with you.
Yeah.
Again,
Yeah,
we've had
okay.
this topic before, but I think not going too
Listen,
late.
No, well, it's slightly different. Yeah. But I think reliving the old days, I guess, for your parties are fine. But it's the time to do it. And I think people are in. It's funny at this at Thomas's thing, I was thinking for sure the locals were the first to leave. Sorry, let's just prove this
Prove our
these
theory
theories
for a
out.
while. Yeah.
Yeah. So the locals were the first to leave for sure. Those that flew the longest were the ones that partied the hardest.
Yeah, fuck, I'm here.
Was there for the I'm here. Let's just go. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
of course. Yeah.
Sleep when you're dead. That kind of thing. And I think but it did go to 5:30 in the morning. And
Wow.
I think
Probably had dinner
proper
at
done.
midnight though in Athens, no?
9ish, yeah. But
Wasn't
I
that
think
Yeah,
classic
but see, I
mistake
mean,
of
that's a solid effort. I commend it. That's
yeah, like
hats
proper,
off
like the
effort. Yeah,
decent
yeah, yeah,
DJ,
yeah.
decent DJ underneath. It took forever to get people to dance, but then when they did, then I think they got
But
into
what
it.
was it? The music, right? Is the right
Well,
music? Is the
so
right songs?
I loved the music was awesome, but then the DJ realized, okay, we have some people, sorry Thomas, of a certain age group that want to hear like 80s, that kind of stuff, which is totally fine by me. And then the dance floor fills up, and then when he throws in some banging like minimal track, it thins out again. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
that
you
doesn't work. No,
gotta
no. You have to. Unfortunately, you have to go very mainstream,
yeah.
singable,
Singable, yeah.
hymns. Yeah, but I'm fine with that. I don't give a shit. I never was. I'm not a snob like you at that. For that, you have to find, you go to a club. In the end, it's also not about the music. I mean, unless you have to dance to, I don't know, some Greek folklore, which might be fun too, but something you really hate.
And
It's about being there. And
the thing you need to close with, it doesn't matter what, is that you need to have a brunch the next day, which is basically a never-ending lunch. The never-ending lunch,
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Where you can actually catch up with the people you didn't speak the night before. I think that's really important. I do think good food is. I was always very adamant about sit down because I hate it. I hate buffets. I really do. I think they're a terrible thing. But if you had a standing thing, I could be convinced today, which is a new thing, of a standing kind of dinner with excellent food. That's I'm not compromising.
Yeah, obviously,
I hate
dude.
shitty food. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
dude,
that's.
we know.
But it doesn't need
we
to
know.
be sit down necessarily. So saying that.
You just need to get people's energy up and
Yeah.
dancing. Like that's it. Like the sit down stuff, and that's the thing. And this is what the Americans do. They fill you up, get you a little drunk, and then put you on your way. You get home, and you don't get to have a time for real interaction.
So first of all, don't go to a party in America. That's number one. That's the first lesson.
Who wants to come here anyway these days? But yeah, okay.
Yeah, I'd like to come back soon. I thought.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Exactly. Okay. So joking aside, and to me, small group of people, but hey, whatever rocks your boat. I think those destination birthdays and things, that's, I think, a topic. They're great because you get people out of the habitat. They're also a big strain on everyone, but then it kind of, matters more.
I think that's part of the point.
It is.
And I think you have to acknowledge it's not something you do all the time, but when you put this strain on, then people really commit.
Yeah,
and that's why
fair enough.
All the with love to all the locals kind of left earlier, right? And this thing because when you hit the 2 a.m. wall, the 2:30, there's no reason to push on.
Amazing 40th birthday I had also this year was in skiing on the beginning of January, 2 days in Lech. 40 people.
I think we should just dedicate this podcast to all the amazing parties that Paul, the birthday parties that Paul.
No, I was just saying. I was just reflecting.
This is a great one. Marc goes on one, and it's like that was a great time. I want to have a podcast about it. Paul's like, "What the fuck are you talking about? I go to like 10 of these a year. This is, standard. Like
exactly.
all your search for meaning in this is actually pointless because we have this down pat. Hello,
Okay, I think this
Come
is
to Europe anytime.
The best closing remarks.
Yeah,
I'm just gonna add you as my +1 in the future.
Yeah, can you please?
I
mean,
I
honestly,
have a few 50s coming up, which I find is quite no, I wouldn't say a set, but it's quite a sign in my life that those are starting. I had also my first 50th birthday party of a Thomas. Not the same Thomas, a different Thomas.
Yeah.
My Thomas, one of my Thomases, just a few weeks ago, which was also nice. He did at a sailing club by the lake, started at 3 PM. No, I think the learning out of this is so crystal clear. The writing's on the wall.
It's so crystal clear.
Like,
I just want to state for our audience. I mean, there was a reason when we had our wedding at here in New York where I insisted on having
which
it
is
at
also
my
a
parents'
destination
place.
wedding.
Yeah, it was. It was for
people.
It was quite global. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But the reason why I threw it at my parents' place, I mean, they have a great, property. It's open, nice and open. Yeah, is because you can actually go till 4 or 5 a.m. Unlike because in the States they would close
many
it down
events. Many locations.
Yeah, it's horrible. So I should have known that before I even started this topic. But thank you for
You're very welcome.
in such
I think
brutal
it was a great
terms
topic.
for our American audiences, basically saying, "What the fuck are you talking about?"
Yeah, we're gonna do a Celebrate Your Milestones the European Way agency product, and we're gonna plan this out for you guys.
I can see.
No problem.
Yeah, exactly.
Party like the guys like us.
Sponsored by 28.
Exactly. Sponsored by 28. Yeah. Party like us. Party like us. Yeah.
All right.
Okay, here we go.
All right.
That's great. Dude, do you have any idiots or terminators of the week?
I do.
Really? Me too, actually. I actually thought about this.
So actually, at this amazing concert I was at today, over the weekend, it's the first time this has happened to me. Like some drunk guy pulled the fire alarm and shut down. Yeah. I mean, it's right before the band was going to do their encore, and suddenly, the fire department's coming in. The guys are walking in there. They're like, "Is there smoke?" Whatever. Everyone had to get off stage, and I guess he was just really drunk and he hit it. And I will applaud how calm everyone was, given how beautiful the venue was. But I mean, how stupid can you be to like literally break glass and pull an alarm? So that's the idiot of mine. What about you?
Breaking. I'm always struggling with the idiot. And today I thought I'm just going to open up the news and see. I'm sure I'm going to find one. And,
there are at least 5 on the front page every day.
Exactly. That, right? So little did I know, it was very easy. Did you read about those about the fact that the Louvre in big obviously everyone knows
yes, of
museum
course,
was robbed on Sunday morning. Yeah, of course. So those are. I mean, I don't know. The guys are the terminators of the week. Clearly,
I mean,
it's like
honestly,
movie.
these are like
the rest of the people involved. I mean, obviously, don't look great. Let's put it like this.
No. I mean, sorry, the hilariousness of just pulling up with the truck with the ladder that goes in there.
It's like in a fucking movie.
Is that a Mr. Bean episode or what? Like, I mean, it's really...
it's like in this. What was this Netflix series with this super thief? Whatever,
Lupin.
But
Lupin.
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 Lupin. So it's almost like they probably told everyone, "Hey guys, we're just shooting for the movie. Don't worry about it." Then they walked in. 7 minutes later, they walk out with these crown jewels. So that's clearly, I mean, that's very easy. And that was an easy
Good.
find. So now I know how I find Made It of the Week.
There you go. Yeah, it's either in
Yeah,
the Mirror or in
yeah,
the
yeah,
newspaper. You'll find it for
yeah. The mirror is easy. I can go weekly on
yeah,
that. I mean,
yeah.
I was thinking of renaming a segment of the idiotic thing of the week that I did. Yeah,
I did. Yeah, it's another thing.
yeah, which
Actually, I
could
would
be another
happily contribute
episode
to that.
actually. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Thank you. Yeah.
Mine
Terminator.
are. I went to the No Kings protest with the kids and my wife, and on Saturday, and cheers to the organizers of that. They're amazing, and it was really peaceful. The signs were funny as hell.
I'm
Um,
sure.
I think uh, meaningful in the sense that I don't know. It was Times Square was packed, and you know you get the whole thing was a really friendly, what's called safe vibe, and essential one. And so congrats to all those who pulled it off. It was a lot of fun. I felt safe with the kids. um Felix wanted to know, like, who are all the guys dressed in money bags, balloons, and
Yeah, interesting. That's
yeah.
interesting. I'm gonna take yeah, my did I ever, I don't know if I shared this already. I had this idiot once in a week that pulled out my windscreen wiper of my Tesla. So now this
Yeah,
is my
yeah,
concern.
yeah,
Yeah, so and my Terminator of the week is the guy. They have a mobile service team. So you don't have to go to a shop. They just come by,
no
fix your
way.
shit. Yeah,
Amazing.
it's fucking awesome.
Oh,
It's like you
I
schedule
love
it
that.
in your app. I mean, it's like a dude comes in his Tesla. He's like, "Hey, what's up?" Da, da, da. Fixes the thing, goes his ways. It's all booked off your credit card. So I mean, it's pretty fucking cool. I have to
That's
admit, it's
cool.
my terminal of the
Wow.
week. Yeah.
Wow. That
The other
is
ones was Max Verstappen in Austin, which is also everyone is
amazing.
my Terminator who is doing these memes. My Instagram feed is full of them on him hunting down the McLaren boys, which is hilarious, and always with his own song in the background. Da, 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 da. So I mean, this is basically all I watch all day. It's fantastic. It's super fun. Yeah, yeah. So
Yeah. Well,
made my weekend.
good. Formula One and getting your Tesla wiper replaced.
Fix. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. These are the champagne problems we love to talk about.
Dude, I mean, I never said I was deep. Like I am. I mean, I think I proved today. You know what I mean? I can be as shallow as a little puddle.
All right. Well, on that note, great to see you as always, and
As
talk
always.
soon.
Ciao.